All right, the clock. Don't be taking this down and threatening my account. Because Judge Joe Brown has some words to say. That's right, facts.com, truth.edu. Judge Joe Brown, he ain't white, he's blick. So if you take this down and threaten to take it down, or that means you're racist. Don't do it. Judge Joe Brown, he's black. If you take it down, that means you're racist. Here's a cut right there. Take a look. You can't. Don't say Merry Christmas. This is the real Kamala. Take a look.
Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry
Christmas. These children are not going to have a Merry Christmas. How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
And then you got Kamala Imhoff in there. You know who Imhoff is?
No.
Yes, you do.
Who?
Mrs. Imhoff, Vice President of the United States, who goes by her maiden name,
Miss Kamala?
Kamala Harris. She's got 2 Jewish children she adopted. She married a Jewish husband who's got a interesting...
I'm scared to talk about Kamala Harris. I'm going to let you have that one.
No, she's a witch, and she is a corrupt witch. She's been corrupt her whole life, and she fucked her way to the top. They used to detail this witch in the LA Times with her sexual escapades. She fucked damn near everybody trying to get up. She used to be a fat hoe when she was at Howard. And she ain't black.
You know, I got to do with this, Miss Harris.
No, I mean, well, don't, but she's
I don't know.
With her sexual escapades. She fucked damn near everybody trying to get up. She used to be a frat hoe when she was at Howard.
A frat hoe.
And she ain't black.
She ain't.
You know
I got to do with this, Miss Harris.
No, I mean, well, don't, but she's
I don't know. I'm just listening.
Well, here's the thing. I actually met her father in Jamaica. I was the guest, sat at the Governor General's table, and he was a professor.
Okay.
And he represents as a Hindu Brahmin. He admittedly has some Irish in him. All right? The person that Kamala Harris is saying is her black great-grandmother is, in fact, according to Daddy, in an article he wrote, which has now been cleaned up on the online edition of that magazine, was a Hindu house servant, not a black woman. So her mother is listed on her birth certificate as Caucasian, even though she's dark. But see, she's a Hindu Brahmin Tamil caste. Now, interestingly, do you know what the anthropological name is for what Kamala Harris and her parents are?
No, sir.
Indo hyphen Aryan. See, they are Indo-Aryans from the India. From India. So you get the Aryan Brotherhood, the Aryan Nation. What's going on is the Aryans, they claim to be one with, look like Kamala or Queen Harris. You know, I guess what she did is...
Come Queen, he said.
You know, LA Times ranked her out. I was out in LA,
Kamala.
you know, when she was really...
I didn't see this article.
Before that, she got out and they ran a thing that when she went to law school, Willie Brown, that was his mistress. They used to have guards.
I heard about that, though.
Where they had one I loved. It was a scene, Willie Brown sitting behind a desk with his tongue hang out, and Kamala is raising up after doing him, you know. And they ran this thing where he got her a job with a medical supply company that did business with the city of San Francisco. He got her a gig for 15 hours a week for $72,000 a year. And you have to understand that was 35 years ago.
Wow.
And then when they carried the thing where she moved up to 20 hours a week, she getting paid $120 grand for a part-time gig, and he bought her a 750i BMW. She was earning that. So then she had this thing where she was trying to get on with this big firm. They wouldn't hire her, so she started screwing one of your buddies, an NBA player who was their biggest client. So she got hired. So then they ran a scandal sheet on her where she was trying to get on with the DA's office, so she started screwing the deputy chief DA to get on. So I did not vote for that damn fool that they had running against him, that racist dog, what I heard the first time in 1972 when I was doing an intern thing at a DC think tank, when he was out there with James O. Eastland, John B. Stennis. Faubus came in from Arkansas. That's the fool who said they'd never integrate the Little Rock High School. They had Wallace there, who was wheeled in, and they had Byrd, former Grand Dragon of the Klan, and they were talking about this young man who had a stupid-looking ducktail like he was back in the 1950s, was the last true yellow dog Dixiecrat, and they were talking about Joe Biden, who got up there, and when the speech he gave, I mean, I was really offended. I heard it right outside the state capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ransacked old house, 250 years old. And he said, Negro children are like roaches. If they're allowed to integrate the schools, they will infest them and they will never be gotten out. Negro.
Who said that? Joe Biden said that?
Yeah, I heard it. Saw it. He said Negroes were animals and they turned the streets into jungles. And he and Senator Eastland had a plan where they could put all of these Negro animals in zoos. That bastard has been a racist dog, and he used to talk about he understood the Negro because he was raised in Delaware. And he said Delaware was a proud slave-owning state that basically copped out by not going with the South during the rebellion as it should have, because they were too close to D.C. to not be intimidated. So I listened to this racist dog. I kept up with him because I was practicing criminal law, and federal criminal trials became almost a lynch thing because in the federal system, thanks to Biden, Stennis, Eastland, and some other these yellow dog Dixiecrat races, what happens is they set it up so you get tried by ambush if it is a criminal case, and if you're absolutely innocent, you don't know shit about what happened. Eastland and Stennis and Biden set something else up where they deliberately set the rules so that a prosecutor could knowingly go, well, not knowing, but know that he had no case that could get an conviction, but deliberately go after you for the purpose of bankrupting you so your ability to operate is destroyed.
Oh, like they do in Trump.
Now,
Like they
that's
do in
one of the bad things that bastard did.
Like they're doing in
And
Trump.
by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
This woman was flaunting her relationship with Willie Brown, former mayor of San Francisco. You know, Sweet Willie? Sweet Willie Brown. Sweet Willie. Sweet Willie Brown. And they were hanging out in the restaurants and out there on the wharf, you know, and Willie Brown is married. They were in public while she was a district attorney.
Come on.
Here she was, an adulterer, going with this man, you know, and all over you get to pick up the daily, the British newspapers. I mean, they covered it. Many of the people in the Frisco area didn't cover it. In America, they didn't bring it up against her either. But now this woman was flaunting her relationship with Sweet Willie Brown.
Certainly, you could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Knock wood.
Knock wood. Knock wood. She said knock wood. I bet she does. Boom.